Good morning, lovelies. Be transformed, not conformed. Let's talk about it. Jesus, coffee. So, I want to talk about a couple of passages. God doesn't call us to blend in. Actually, He doesn't call us to blend in and be like the others. Actually, it's quite the opposite. He actually calls us not to conform to the world. So the following two verses really speak to my mind. They come to mind when we speak about being transformed. They're Matthew 5, verse 14, and actually verse 16 too, but we'll go into verse 14 first. This is during the Sermon on the Mount. Jesus is talking about that the believers are the salt and light of the earth. But verse 14 says, "You are the light of the world. A city that is set on a hill cannot be hidden." So he calls us to shine, right? He goes on in verse 15 to say, "Nor do they light a lamp, put it under a basket, but on a lampstand, and it gives light to all over in the house." So, not just throwing a light switch, but talking about back then when they lit a lamp, they didn't put it under, they didn't cover the lamp so that, or they didn't cover that, lamp so that it wasn't seen. So, it was meant to shine light all around so people can see. I love what he says in verse 16, though. Let your light so shine before men that they may see your good works and glorify your Father in heaven. So, again, you wanna let your light shine. You are like a city on a hill that's brightly lit. Okay, and then in Romans 12:2. So this is a letter. This is Paul's letter to Rome. And I love what he says here in Romans 12:2. He says, "Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind, that you may prove what is good and acceptable and perfect will of God." So he's telling us not to blend in. Don't blend in. Don't be conformed, because we're in the world, but we're not of the world, right? When we're believers and we're shining his light, we're moving out of the way so that he can shine his light in the person of the Holy Spirit. And, we don't be transformed. We don't walk in and we don't, we be transformed by renewing our mind. How do we renew our mind? Right there, guys. That's how we renew our mind. We get in the Word. When we're in the Word, we are fellowshipping with God, where he is shaping us and molding us. When we don't open this and it's got dust on it, we're not renewing our mind. So getting in the Word and spending time in the Word is how we let God talk to us. We hear that still small voice because his sheep know his voice. Are you one of his sheep? Or are you of the world? So what's God saying in these passages? What did God really speak? What is he saying in these passages? Why these passages? Well, because somebody needs to hear that we're not chameleons, guys. As believers, we're not chameleons. And let me tell you, when I hung around with my old roommate, I was a chameleon. I was very much of the world, and I would throw that switch on and off, which didn't glorify God. Not at all. The speech matched, the words and the actions matched the crowd. That's not what we're supposed to do. No. What does he specifically say? Do not be conformed to the world. Don't be conformed to it. It's not what we're here for. We are an instrument, a tool through which God can work. We have to use the tool properly. You know, if we dim his light down and we worry about, well, I don't want everybody to see, they'll think I'm a Jesus freak, and they'll worry about, you worry about what people think. That's putting a basket on the light. That's dimming that light, and that's not what we're called to do. Matthew 5:14. It's not what we're called to do. And Matthew 5:16. No. Not what we do, guys. We move out of the way and we let him shine. You know, if we dim his light as not to draw attention, it's like using a flashlight to drive in a nail. Well, is that what you use to drive a nail in? Do you use a flashlight to do it? No, that's not what you use. You use a hammer. You don't use a screwdriver. You don't use a flashlight. You don't use a pair of pliers. No, use a hammer, guys. Use the tool properly. Use the tool for what its purpose is. You are his tool so that he can work through you. Use that tool properly. Be that proper tool. Be that light. That's what we're called to do. You know, we are chosen to shine that light. In the person of the Holy Spirit, we're chosen to shine that light out. Don't hide it. It's not what we do. Light it up. Light it up. Walk in and don't let anybody have any second, don't let there be a doubt that you're a Christ follower. Let me tell you guys, I got many God hugs while I was in the hospital. Okay? But I got asked 3 times while I was in the hospital, are you a pastor? No, I'm not a pastor. I evangelize. I share him with the world because that's how he's made me. He's made me to and given me the strength through many, many prayers in Ephesians 6, verses 19 and 20, where I've asked for him to give me strength to step out boldly in my faith. When you ask and you pray in his will, he's going to answer that prayer. He's going to answer that prayer. And especially when you're praying in his will and you're praying for what exactly he's made you to do, he's going to answer. Be ready for that answer. It's almost a case of be careful what you ask for because you're going to get it. We don't know who we impact by walking in and letting that light shine. We don't know who we impact, but he does. He knows exactly who he impacts when we move out of the way and we let his light shine. Again, guys, you've heard me say it before. When we walk into a room, all eyes are on us. All eyes are on believers. And that's not a pride thing, guys. That's not being prideful and being boastful. That's the analogy I've used many times before of 100 people standing in a cave that's pitch black and one person strikes a match. All 100 eyes go to that, gravitate to that match. They gravitate to that light. When we shine his light because we move out of the way and we let it happen, then all eyes are on us when we walk into a dark place. Are you thinking about that when you walk in? Are you letting your actions and your words mirror knowing that you're on stage? You're in a spotlight. You're in his spotlight. You're beaming a light. Are you letting people see him? Or are you letting people see a dim, dull, hidden version of him? So, just a thought. So somebody needs to hear it. I don't know. Just let that light shine, guys. He loves you. He loves everybody you impact. And when you move out of the way and you let him do what he does, he can love others through you. Be that tool. Let his light shine. Don't be in the world, guys. Be in the world. Don't be of the world. When you're around others and they're letting F-bombs fly all over the place, like by Friday Night League, oh, good night. There are some that I've had to ask them a few times. Can you use a little bit more intelligent speech than just dropping F-bombs and like letting them fly like commas? No. Don't be afraid to, hey man, I love you. You can use some more intelligent speech. I know that you got a brain up in there. And letting F-bombs fly doesn't sound intelligent. Actually, when I see that, it's like a mirror in my face. Because that's what I used to be like. And there's times I still get angry and a couple escape. So much room for growth. So I love you guys. I know he loves you. Doctor's appointment to go get sutures removed. Arm is healing very nicely. So we'll be back tomorrow with whatever Dad wants to talk about. Love you guys.